Project Hail Mary is the must-see movie right now. Oh my god, I loved it so much. I would give it a maybe 8.5 or even 9 out of 10. Go see this. No spoiler review for the first part of this video, and then I'll give some spoilers at the end for some parts I loved. And this is the crazy thing. I was recommending it to a friend here in the Philippines, and the term Hail Mary is not widely known here. And I realized I had to explain it to them because they were saying they didn't want to see it because they thought it might be overly religious. And I was like, wow, I have to explain this. I guess it's a more of an American sports term, actually. So Hail Mary comes, I think, originally from the Catholic prayer, Hail Mary. But in the US, this term is used in sports, specifically from what I know is American football, where you're supposed to bring the ball from one end of the giant field to the other end, and usually you do it slowly, 10 yards at a time. But when the clock is running out, when you're about to lose, the game is about to end, there's like 5 seconds left or whatever, they have this play called a Hail Mary play, which is sort of just like, just leave it to the gods, just up for prayer. And you just sort of throw the ball from one end 100 yards to the other end of the field, hoping someone from your team catches it. So that's where the title of the movie comes from, which is also a book, by the way. It's Project Hail Mary, sort of a end of the world, and this is their last hope to sort of save the world type Armageddon or Interstellar type galaxy movie. The character development was so good, albeit some parts needed, but were maybe a bit slow because the movie was 2.5 hours. And in fact, they say that so many parts were still cut from the book, as usual. But overall, oh my god, the character development was great. What I loved was how it felt so human, where the main character, Ryan Gosling, wasn't trying to be and didn't feel like a hero. He was sort of a normal guy, a geek. He wasn't the guy rushing to save the world. And it felt more human in a way where, I feel like we think we'll be the hero when it's needed. Like, we'll just jump into action and try to save the world if we can, which I feel like, many of us may be in the right situation, but sometimes I feel like also, push come to shove, if we're suddenly surprised in certain situations, we might not always rise to the occasion, and that's okay. I feel like that's just so much more human, to where we're not always equipped to be that superhero, and sometimes we stutter, sometimes we trip, sometimes we fall. But I think what makes us heroes is when we get back up after we fall. And I feel like that's what the movie showed, was the humanness of it. And I feel like despite the galaxy, universe type, save the world type scenarios, there was still such a human element that we can all relate to. Light spoilers ahead, so click away now if you haven't seen the film and if you don't want to hear the spoilers. So I think one of my favorite things about the movie was how in the beginning, when he was complimenting the astronauts who were going to sacrifice their lives, because this was a one-way trip. There was no way back home, so Ryan Gosling's character, Captain Grace, was complimenting the astronauts going, who were volunteering and sacrificing their lives. He was saying that they were so brave. And the captain, I believe, replied to him and said, it's not about being brave. It's about finding someone to be brave for. And wow, I thought that was deep. I never thought of it that way. And if you come to think about it, there's always someone that you're trying to protect and give more of yourself to and save more than yourself a lot of times. And in this movie, part of the character development was that Dr. Grace, Ryan Gosling, sort of was in a way, a self-made outcast, where he was made fun of because of some of the research he did. And I guess it felt like he was very hurt by that, and he sort of secluded himself from the scientific community and instead chose to teach, which he also loves. But he ended up teaching middle schoolers which might also be the safe thing because, they probably wouldn't challenge him the way the scientific community would. And the surprising thing about the movie was about him finding that person to be brave for. And it is not what you expect, of course. If you've seen the film, he ends up really becoming friends with the alien, Rocky, which was so sweet. It was pretty much a pet. I could totally relate to it. I was thinking of all my pets, and yeah, so that's what I really enjoyed about the movie. So in the end, it was a total change for him where from in the beginning, he didn't even want to volunteer. He didn't even want to go to space, even though he was the last resort. Whereas later on, at the end of the movie, he totally just, without knowing what might happen, he just sacrificed himself to save his friend. And I thought that was such a down-to-earth human moment. It didn't feel like a superhero movie. It felt like a normal person. It felt so much more relatable, which is why I really loved it. And again, giving it 8.59. I haven't worked out my rating system. That might be a 9.5 even. So yeah, highly recommended. Go see the movie. I loved it. And I'll see you at the next review.